ለመማር ወደ ትምህርት ተቋም መሄድ ግድ አይደለም።
ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ
ራሳችሁን ከኮሮና ቫይረስ ወረርሽኝ እየጠበቃችሁ በቤታችሁ ወይም በተመቻችሁ ቦታ
በኢንተርኔት አማካኝነት በኦንላይን ትምህርታችሁን መከታተል ይቻላል።
ካናዳ ከሚገኘው ኢንተርናሽናል ኤር ትራንስፖርት አሶሲዬሽን አያታና
ከእንግሊዙ ኢንስቲትዩት ኦፍ ኮመርሻል ማኔጅመንት ICM ጋር በመተባበር የሚሰጡ ትምህርቶችን ተከታትላችሁ በ6 ወር ጊዜ በዓለም አቀፍ ደረጃ ተቀባይነት ያለውን የስልጠና ማስረጃ ባለቤት መሆን ይቻላል።
ከኢትዮጵያ ሲቪል አቪዬሽን ባለስልጣን ሙሉ ዕውቅና ባገኘንባቸው የፍላይት ኦፕሬሽን እና የሆስተስ ስልጠናም በምዝገባ ላይ ነን።
ጥያቄና መልስ፣ የክፍል ስራዎች ብሎም ፈተና መፈተን ክፍል ውስጥ እንዳላችሁ አይነት
ልምድ ባላቸው መምህራን እየተማራችሁ
በኦንላይን ባላችሁበት ቦታ
አድራሻ ከ22 ማዞሪያ ወደ ሾላ ገበያ በሚወስደው መንገድ 150 ሜትር ገባ ብሎ ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ
የናሽናል ኤርዌይስ እህት ኩባንያ
ህልሞን እውን ያደርጋል።
Salam. Salam. Sit. Yes, can we start our day? Where do we start? Because we need to try and finish today so that we can open ways for other things to happen. So I don't know who will be our first presenter today. Presenter number 1 is ready.
Can I present? Because I missed last time.
Yes, that's Conchi number 1.
Can I start? Can you see the PowerPoint? I'm going to present about mergers versus acquisition and why it's needed. The meaning of mergers and acquisitions. Why companies merge or acquire the benefit and the like. I will explain that. Type of mergers, strategies of mergers and acquisitions, pros and cons, why mergers fails, and mergers in Ethiopia, and conclusion will be presented. Merger occurs when two separate entities combine forces to create a new joint organization. As you can see the below figure, there is a company and B company. They become one A and B company. They merge it to one company. When we say acquisition, it refers to the takeover of one entity by another. When there is a big company, A, swallowed the small company B, it becomes one company A. These are both methods that companies are used to enter into new industries or countries. Merger, there's usually a process of negotiation involved between two companies prior to combination taking place. They want to produce benefits to the combined company. There will obviously be some complication and difficulties involved, and also potential synergies will be available. In acquisition, the negotiation process does not necessarily take place. There are two kinds of acquisitions, friendly and hostile. When it's friendly, the acquisition as an opportunity to develop into new areas and use the resources offered by the acquirer. When it's hostile, takeovers, the target is opposed to the acquisition. The acquirer may attempt to buy large amounts of target share on the open market. When they acquire, they offer cash or share in exchange of the target share. Why companies merge or acquire? Merge and acquire takes place for many strategic business reasons, but the most common reasons for any business combination are economic at their core. These economic reasons are explained below. Increasing capabilities. expanded research and development opportunities, or more robust manufacturing operation when they want to develop this. The strategy is increasing capabilities, and companies may want to combine to leverage costly manufacturing operations. To gain a competitive advantage or large market share, to gain a better distribution or marketing network, to expand into different markets where a similar company is already operating rather than start from zero. Diversifying products or services. To complement a current product or service to gain a competitive edge over others in the marketplace. Replacing leadership. If the current owners can't identify someone within the company to succeed them, they will search for merger or acquisition at the time of retirement and the like. Cutting costs. Similar products or services combining can create a large opportunity to reduce costs. An opportunity to combine location or reduce operating costs by entering and streamlining support functions. For surviving purpose. Companies used mergers and acquisition to grow and survive during the global financial crisis. At like this COVID time, this kind of merger or acquisition will be created. Synergies. Overall performance efficiency tends to increase, and across the board, costs tend to drop. Each company leverages off the other company's strengths. When we say synergies, value of merged company exceeds sum of values of two individual companies. Growth. Mergers can give the acquiring company an opportunity to grow market share without doing significant heavy lifting. Increases supply chain pricing power. By buying out one of its suppliers or distributors, a business can eliminate an entire tier of costs. By buying out a distributor or a company often gains the ability to ship out products at a lower cost. Eliminate competition. Many mergers and acquisition deals allow the acquirer to eliminate future competition and gain a larger market share. A larger premium is usually required to convince the target company's shareholders to accept the offer. In summary, mergers and acquisitions, the reason of mergers and acquisitions can be elaborated like this: capacity augmentation, expansion or growth, achieving a competitive edge, surviving through times, cost cutting, and diversification is the main strategies. Types of mergers. There are 4 types of mergers, and another 4 also will follow. Horizontal merger. The companies that are in direct competition and share the same product lines and markets are using horizontal mergers. Their motive is achieving economies of scale, reduction of competitors in the industries. Vertical merger, a customer and company or a supplier and company. What motivates them is the benefits attributing to forward and backward integration. Control over all phases of production market. Conglomeration merger. Companies totally interrelated business activity. There are 2 kinds of mergers. Pure involves firms with nothing in common. when we say mixed, involves firms looking for product or market extensions. Their motives is diversification, financial decision, management synergies. Concentric merger. Two businesses that serve the same consumer base in different ways. This also into categories. Market extension, two companies sell same products in different markets. Product extension, two companies selling different but related products in same market. Their motive is increasing market share, product diversification, and strategic advantage. The other types are strategic merger. Merger is undertaken to enhance the acquirer's business position. Financial merger is undertaken to make money from the merger process. Mergers is made with cash or through the issue of debt instruments. Consolidation mergers, a brand new company is formed, and both companies are bought and combined under the new entity. Strategies for mergers and acquisition. Extremely important in order to drive the maximum benefit out of merger or acquisition deal. Before entering into any merger or acquisition deal, the target company's market performance and market position is required to be examined thoroughly so that the optimal target company can be chosen and the deal can be finalized at the right price. Identification of future market opportunities. Recent market trends and customers' reaction to the company's products are also very important in order to assess the growth potential of the company. It is also very important to consider the working environment and culture of the workforce of the target company. At the time of the drawing up merger and acquisition strategies, so that the employees of the target company do not feel left out and become demoralized. In mergers, there are three phases: pre-deal, deal, and post-deal. On the pre-deal, they will develop strategy, how to manage transition, and analyze target. When the on the deal time, structural deal will be assessed, and the post-deal, mobilize effort, define migration, and execute integration will be conducted. Financial and legal due diligence will be in pre-deal. In first 100 days, they will assess cultural due diligence, mitigate risk stage, and the like on the post-deal. Acquisition process, visibility, agree deal, funding, completion, and postal deal should be assessed before the acquisition. And visibility, analyze opportunity, assessment of viability, initial funding views, and the like will be assessed. Agree a deal, they will negotiate deal with vendor, draft sign head of agreement, and the like will be processed. On funding, prepare business plan, prepare projects, prepare presentation, approaching funders, negotiation of terms with funders. On completion, due diligence, legal process, work capital, tax planning, convenience, management of funders, management of other advisors will be assessed. And on post-deal, the hard work begins. Cash management, convenience, completion accounts, conditions will be processed. What are the advantage and disadvantage of merger or acquisition? Depending on the new company's short-term and long-term strategies and efforts. This is because of the factors like market environment, variations in business culture, acquirement costs, and change to financial power surrounding the business captured. advantage to merge their power and control over the markets, synergy that allow for increased value efficiency of the new entity. It takes the shape of returns, enrichment, and cost savings. Economies of scale is formed by sharing the resource and services. Overall cost reduction giving a competitive advantage, raised buying power and longer production runs, decrease of risk using innovative techniques of managing financial risks, a small business with unique technologies, a large company will retain or grow a competitive edge, tax benefits, financial advantage might instigate mergers, and corporations will fully build use of tax shield, increase monetary leverage, and utilize alternative tax benefits. These are the advantage and disadvantage or limitations. Loss of experienced workers, aside from workers in leadership positions. When they merge, there might be demotion or moving to another position that might unsatisfy the workers. There is risk of getting surplus employees in some departments. Merging two firms that are doing similar activities may create duplication and overcapability within the company that may need retrenchment. Increases in costs might result if antitrust action delaying or preventing the proposed merger. The merger and acquisition reduces flexibility. If a rival makes revolution and may currently market vital resources, those are of superior quality, shift is tough. Unrealistic price paid for target, much more what should have been paid. Difficulties in cultural integration, different corporate culture, style of leadership, differing employee expectation, and functional differences might create. Overstated synergies. Creating synergies through increased revenue, reduced costs, reduction in working capital, and improvement in the investment intensity. Integration difficulties. The combined entity has to adapt to a new set of challenges given the changed circumstances. Inadequate due diligences, inaccurate estimation of the related risk. Mergers in Ethiopia. Ethiopian government enacted the Trade Practice and Consumer Proclamation, Protection Proclamation in 2010. Study, I just searched that the study conducted in Ethiopia in July 2015 in St. Mary University, the benefit and challenge of merger in the case of Save the Children. And they put the benefit of this merger. This study was conducted to explore the benefits and challenges of mergers in Save the Children. Having a reliable base of funding and skilled manpower with diversified knowledge are huge benefits for Save the Children, which were created due to the merger. Employees of Save the Children are highly tensioned and frustrated and also lose their trust because of the non-stoppable consecutive HR structuring and departmental and organizational level. And finally, the conclusion. Generally, a company does not acquire another business unless it is a growing, successful company. In analyzing a potential merger and acquisition, many considerations must be taken into account, such as market price of stock, earnings per share, dividends, book value of assets, risk, and tax consideration should be assessed before merging or acquisition starts. And that's all. Thank you for listening. And if you have any comments or questions, you are welcome.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentation. I think most of the issues have been addressed, so let's be brief. Shimiles.
Yes, please. Sorry
Yes.
for interruption.
Yes.
Konji, thank you for your presentation. It is very interesting, even if it is so long. My question is, I do have one question regarding these mergers and acquisition. Do you think that which one is most preferable? Is that acquisition or merger? Or can it go together? That's my question.
Thank you for the comment on the question. There are two different things. Mergers and acquisition cannot go together. You may go to merger, or you have to go to acquisition. They are methods. So you have to choose from the two of one of the two, because mergers it's agreed business strategy, but acquisition can be takeover. So it's not you cannot say this one is best, this one is not best, not good or bad. I think that's it.
Yeah, thank you. But
please continue.
Yeah, thank you, Konji. I agree with you. But what are the conditions for acquisition and for mergers? What is basic conditions?
As long as when we say it's acquisition, the company must have capital. It requires huge capital. But when we say merger, it doesn't need any capital, but they have to work together to grow in a beneficial way. Did I answer your question?
The answer was perfect. Mergers and acquisitions are different. Therefore, you cannot go for them at the same time. It's either you go for merger, whereby two firms come together, or you go for acquisition. Now, the acquired firm means that it has failed to be competitive in business, and therefore it cannot continue operating as an entity. Because remember, a merger is an option to liquidation. If a firm may not get, not a merger, but acquisition, sorry. An acquisition is an option, is a better option to liquidation. Because if the firm is not sustainable, the firm is not doing well, then it may opt for liquidation, that is sell completely, right? But it would rather be acquired by another firm than close down. Because at least the stock, the owners of the stock will get something out of that acquisition. They will be paid something out of it. But on the other side, when you are acquiring, the acquiring firm will pay something for the assets are not for free. They have to pay something, right? But when firms merge, it means they are sharing. There is a mutual agreement to share the resources that they have. So thank you very much. I think we can go to the second presenter. That was Konji. We can go to Yared. Yared, are you hearing me? Yared, are you online? All right, all right.
Okay.
Please do slide.
Is it visible, the PowerPoint?
Yes, yes, exactly.
Well, thank you for having this chance for presenting my visual assignment. The title is The Role of Money in Capital Market on Strategy. My name is Yared Gadzain. I was trying to find literature starting from just I know my title on internet in different sources, but I could not get the most satisfactory documents because this area is not widely researchable or researched. In Ethiopian case, there is no capital market up to now. But Ethiopia is on the progress just to establish the financial market. So I could not get an experience from Ethiopia. Under those limitations, I will present my assignment by finding from different sources. Finance is, we can say that, an engine of the corporate strategy. Financial strategy is an engine of the whole corporate and business strategies. So my focus is on financial and money markets. So they are the external factors or the external environment or the external market to the firm. So financial markets, is the name indicates, it's a market, the sale and buying of assets such as bonds, stocks, and foreign exchanges. The main principle just to promote and development of a stock exchange and participating in the financial market. There are 4 participants in the financial market: the firm, the investor, the government, and the 4th one is a financial intermediator. So a business organization can act as a seller and a buyer in the financial market. So we can say that the firm may be as an investor or as the firm itself. So there are different types of financial markets. So my focus is on money markets and capital market and their role on the firm's strategy. My computer is stuck. Let's define first money market. Money market is a short-term financial transaction, borrowing. It is a short-term transaction between funds. Mostly it is less than 1 year transaction. The type of instruments are mostly treasury bills, certificate of deposits, commercial banks, papers, bank acceptance, and repurchase agreements. The capital market is the financial investments that are direct or indirect claim to the capital. So the role of money in the capital markets on strategy. So as a strategy, their effects may be, they have the same impact on strategy. So we can say that if a capital market we can use as a synonymous like money market and capital market. So the first one is it creates a link between investors and wealth creators. So the most important function of the capital market is provide, as any other market, the benefits of any other market, create facilitation between transactions between companies and investors. So the main role of this capital market is market of the assets. The third one is just mobilization resource. Finance is the main resource of the corporate businesses. So if there is no capital market, the finance is not mobilizing in too much productive. So the various functions, there are various functions of significant capital market. The first one is link between savers and investors. So if there is a capital market, so the corporates save their money and to try to invest for further risk minimization and to gain the profit. Just it's encouraging to saving. Just they save their money, corporates are saving their money and just to invest as an investor to get more profits. The third one is the capital formation. capital market helps in capital formation because it is another type of investment which minimize the risks of the corporate business and to gaining another additional benefit. So it creates as a capital formation. The fourth role is stabilizing insecurity price. The financial market is an external environment. If it's fluctuated, the business is fluctuated, there is an impact on the corporate, on the firms. So the capital market have the role to stabilize the security prices. The fifth one is just as any market, it benefits the investors because it's an asset market. I'll try to show the implications of strategy. The implication of money and capital markets observed in corporate or in the business firm as a capital structure and working capital. If a firm try to invest in the money market, for example, its working capital have affected. If he invests in this year, for example, its working capital will be minimized even after returning the money market. Its money, the working capital may be fluctuated to the minimum and to the maximum during the investment years. The second implication is on the capital structure. If a firm invests or purchase or buying, selling financial assets, its capital structure highly affected. The second implication, just a company could use as a source of funding. This market could serve as a source of funding just to an investment for the company. In addition, the investment of the company to diversify its income. For example, if a corporate, a firm will be manufacturer of some products. So if he invests in the financial market, its income may diversify and it may be related or unrelated. So it minimizes the risk and maximize the profit of the firm. As corporate growth strategy, if there is a financial market, so it is one way of growing the firm by making an additional investment. It's a kind of safe investment. The other one is promote corporate diversification strategy. It's a kind of income diversification, investment diversification, and the like. It's also a contribution to demanding, increasing the need for mergers and acquisition with other companies. Because if a company participates in the financial market, it becomes safe side. So other companies may willing to work with as alliance, or merger, or as an acquisition. My conclusion is just the lack of participating in the capital market means underutilization of financial resources. So every firm, if there is a financial market, have to participate by making his own study, just making profitable assets. He have to invest and participate in the financial market. The second one, the development of capital market as a foreign capital for domestic industries. So it's have a source of foreign capital sources. So the capital market a constructive role in the development of economy. So the company have to align its strategy in response to capital market conditions. So capital market, if the conditions of capital market is changing as an external environment, the firm directly or indirectly affected by this change. So he have to contribute its own participation just to just to control this capital market. So a company have to actively control or actively watch what is going on in the capital market. So because it have to change its strategy based on that external marketing condition. Thank you for presentation. Thank you. If you have question.
Okay, yes, thank you for your presentation. I think the issue of capital markets is an emerging issue. These are issues that are growing every day. There's a lot of change. There's a lot of new things happening in the in the capital market, because it's based on the sale of shares, sale of stock, and so forth. So I think it was properly covered. Now we ask a few questions, please. I can see Shimles, your hand is up. Please be brief so that we can be able to move on. Samuel, your hand is also up.
Yeah, okay.
Shall I continue?
Yes, yes, continue.
Yari, thank you for your presentation. My question is, that in the history of Ethiopia, we don't have any capital market. So could you please give me some points what we lack as a country because of we don't have any capital market? So can you tell us something what Ethiopia lack because of we don't have any capital market?
Yes, yes. Thank you for your question. There is no capital market in Ethiopia. So Ethiopia is losing just any other, for giving us an example, if there is no market, for example, just to purchase our monthly consumptions, if there is no market, if there is no other market, what happened for us, for example? So we cannot purchase anything from market. In Ethiopia, there is no financial market. What does it mean? The resale value of any share or any investment may almost zero. So if you purchase a financial security, for example, you cannot, there is no possibility to repurchase it again. So companies, peoples or companies are not actively investing in the share company. That's why the share company growth in Ethiopia is highly limited, because of if you are not repurchasing the security, you cannot purchase. For example, let's take, for example, there are some cars, their resale values are minimal. So nobody can want to invest in such kinds of cars. So we are losing many things in the economy because of capital market. So Ethiopia is on the progress to establish this capital market. So everybody have a possibility to purchase and resell its securities to get more profit. Thank you.
No, that's very correct. Basically, the capital market is where it's a market, as he has explained. Just like any other market that you normally see. That's a place where the buyers, the sellers meet. So if you cannot meet, transaction becomes hard. I believe you have so many Ethiopians in the diaspora who may be willing to buy, but they cannot buy when they are far away. But with capital markets, it's online. You can buy your shares wherever you are, no matter how far it is. But now there's a limitation, because if you have to buy physically, you have to come all the way to Ethiopia, which is a, and then apart from that, it also, it limits, foreign investment, because foreigners need to buy, not just Ethiopians in the diaspora. We need to see people across Africa buying shares and stock in Addis, which is not possible now. Because if you compare maybe the South African case, the Kenyan case, this is among the some of the stock markets that are really advanced. There is so much trading, by South Africans, by Nigerians in Kenya, and also Kenyans outside the country. You transact as if you are already in the market because it's online. You can buy, you can sell. If today, where is Samuel Kinyanjui?
I'm here.
Oh yes, Samuel Kinyanjui is here. Now, if today Samuel Kinyanjui wants to sell his shares of Safaricom, he does not go to the market. He just logs into this account, and then in instructs, his broker to sell the shares, and the money will be deposited in his account. Doesn't need to go to the market. So basically, that is it. So it's very, very important. And by the way, the functioning of the stock exchange is one of the ways of measuring what is called financial deepening. How much or how far the country is advanced in terms of financial management and transactions. Okay, I think we can go to the third presenter. Are you ready? Bezu, are you ready?
Yes.
Yes, please. If you are ready, can you say?
Okay. My presentation is on organizational change. In my presentation, we will see the definition of organizational change, forces for organizational change, major types of organizational change, and delaying factor of organizational change. When we define organizational change, it is a movement of an organization from one state of affairs to another key aspect of organizational success. When we say organizational change, we can change the strategy, we can change the technology, and so on and so forth. Change in almost any aspect of a company operation can be met with resistance, and different culture can have different reaction to both the change and the means to promote the change. If there is a change, there can be a resistance, and also different culture that can resist to that kinds of change. To better facilitate necessary changes, several steps can be taken that have been provided to lower the anxiety of employees and ease the transformation process. When there is a change, that change can create some kinds of anxiety. So to minimize anxiety, the organization can follow some kinds of steps, just like training, awareness, induction, and so on and so forth. Organizational change can take many forms. It may involve a change in a company structure. It can be maybe strategy, policy, procedure, technology, or culture. That change may be planned years in advance or may be forced on organizational because of shift in environment. Organizational change can be radical and swift, alter the way an organization operates, or it may be incremental or slow. In any case, regardless of types, change involving letting go the old way in which work is done and adjusting to new way. Therefore, fundamentally, it is a process that involves effective people management. It means when we say a change, it can be swift, or it can be incremental or slow, step by step. Force for organizational change. There are two forces can create the change. The first one is external force of the change and internal force of the change. External force of change, when we say external force of change, it can be government rule and regulation. It makes the organization change some kinds of parts. From time to time, government bring changes in their policy, regulation, rule, with necessary change in organizational. For example, the government policy to privatize the power sector encourage many big corporate houses to diversify its power sector. So, as an external changes, we can take government rule and regulation, and also tax, but can create a change to organization. The second one is technological change. It is a major external force which can form a change. Example, the adoption of new technology, such as new computer system, update manufacturing machine. It can be also external force for a change. The other one is change in people requirement. In nowadays, being a buyer market, customer does not want to purchase what is given to them. Rather, they go to purchase what they desire to purchase. So the seller have to produce and provide product and service to customer exactly as per the requirements, which means people preference are changes time to time. So that preference can be the external force change for the organization. The next one, marketing competition. As present, marketing conditions are the process of rapid change as per the need, desire, and expectation of customer are changing. When there is too much customer competition, that competition can be the external force for the organizational change. The next one is social change. It is found that because of fast speed of educational knowledge exposure, governmental effort, social change are taken place as faster speed social equity, like equal opportunity to women, equal pay for equal workers, has pushed new changes for manager. The next one is internal for change. A deficiency in existing management structure. Sometimes changes are necessary because of some deficiency in existing organizational structure, arrangement, and process. This deficiency may be in the form of large number of managerial level, maybe if it is a horizontal level of managerial level, it can be changed to the vertical, and also lack of coordination among various departments, obstacle in communication can be the internal force for the organizational change. The next one is change in managerial staff. With the passage of time due to high degree of professionalism and specialization, old manager have replaced by new manager, qualified manager with broad vision, brand, their innovative idea. When there is an innovative idea and also specialization of old manager, this can be also internal force for the organizational change. And resource constraint. Resource refers to many material, machinery, personnel, information, and technology. Inadequacy of this resource may result in powerful change for the organization. When we see types of organizational change, it can be organizational wide versus subsystem changes. When we say organizational wide change, involves major restructuring or new collaboration. Just when we say organizational wide, we restructure or new collaboration. We will just like this. Subsystem change may include or add, remove a product or service, or expand clinical house. Transformational versus incremental change. When we say transformational or radical change involves change an organization fundamental structure and culture, which means moving from a top to down hierarchical structure to self-directing team. When we say this can be transformational or radical change. Incremental change is a series of small, often planned steps that takes place over time. Implementation of new computer system to increase efficiency. The next one is remedial versus developmental change. When we say remedial, is a plan to remedy current situations such as increasing efficiency or reducing stress. Remedial change is more focused, urgent, is visible because it addresses current major problem. When we say developmental change, it is more general and intended to make an effective organization, more success development agile. Example include expanding service of product or number of patient service. Reactive versus proactive changes. When you say reactive or its unplanned changes occur when a major or sudden event in organization cause its member to respond in highly disordered way, which means a leader resignation or a major public relation problems. We say reactive or unplanned change. Proactive change occur when leader in organizational recognize the need for major change and organize to accomplish the change. Example, engage in a strategic plan. There are factors which can delay organizational changes. The first one is resistance to change. Resistance to change means standing against the change. Most of the time people resist the change because that in our natural, in nature, when some kinds of change can create anxiety, so people most of the time resist that change. The second one is skill gap. Skill level of workers are insufficient to meet the requirement of their current jobs. So this can be also delaying factor on organizational change. And also organizational structure, set of core beliefs and assumption with organizational culture, centralized or decentralized. The next one, motivations, leader ability to pursue and influence others to work in a common direction, reflect his or her talent to motivate. So there is no, there is a low motivation things. This can also delay the change within the organization. In conclusion, we can say that organization implements change to increase the effectiveness of the business. Employees tend to resist the change due to several reasons, but organizations are not static. They are continuous change in response to variety of force come from inside and outside pressure. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your presentation. I think we did a lot about organizational change. I'm saying I think we did a lot about organizational change, but I'll still ask you to maybe make a comment or a question. I think that was just a brief. Otherwise, we did a lot about organizational change last semester. I'm sure there are many, many things that could not be covered in this study, but at least you understand, you know, the in and out of change in organization. So, any question and comment, please. Any question, any comment? I think Bizwa has disappeared. She's not online. Okay, she's coming back to answer our questions. Yes, any question, please? Any question about change? Any question? No question? Then we could go to Tadesse. You do your Tadesse, are you online? Ayub Tadesse. Tadesse, are you getting me? Yes, please. Go ahead with your presentation.
Can I proceed?
Yes, please proceed.
Okay. My assignment is, the title of my assignment is Strategy Selection Paradox. And I'm going to present it briefly. And I want to thank you, my fellow friends and my teacher, Mr. Stali Cavalli. First, I will try to elaborate about strategy, what strategy is. As you know, strategy is a means to achieve a goal or an objective. It is a method or plan that is devised to achieve a desired future. As you know, this strategy, the term strategy was coined by the Greeks because previously they were powerful in terms of these warships. So they coined the term strategy because they found this term very indispensable in their war agendas. So they coined it strategios, that means generalship or leading an army. So that was the beginning of this term. Then when we look at strategy selection, you know, when we make strategy, first we have to prepare alternative strategies. And after selecting alternative strategies, we have to choose the right strategy, which we think is indispensable to help us achieve our goals. So selecting between alternative strategies is called strategy selection. Strategic selection is very important for a company. But when we make strategic selection, sometimes there is a situation what we call strategy paradox. And we will look at it more briefly. This is strategy selection paradox. Strategy selection paradox means as much as strategies have a greatest possibility of success, they have at the same time the greatest possibility of failure. This is what we call strategy selection paradox, because most of the time we commit ourselves to achieve goals, we commit ourselves to succeed in our businesses, but this strategy paradox is a challenge, because as much as there is a possibility of success when we devise strategies, we have at the same time the greatest, it has at the same time the greatest possibility of failure. And this is what strategy selection paradox is. So the strategic selection paradox is, you know, it is a kind of, you know, it's a collusion of commitment and uncertainty. Because when we are committed to achieve our goals, when we are committed, you know, to bring extra revenue to our company, there is what we call uncertainty, because as much as we are committed to that cause, we are also uncertain of its consequences. So this is what strategy paradox is. So when we commit ourselves to a strategy, there is uncertainty, and this uncertainty, we call it the strategic uncertainty. Committing to a strategy can avoid the impact of strategic paradox. This is most of the time works. If we commit to a strategy, and if we involve people, and if we exploit our resources with commitment and determination, we can avoid the impact of strategic paradox. But I think the Sony's case is exceptional, and we will see it in the later slides. Sony's failures were happened. These failures were not the result of mistakes or faults by Sony, but because, you know, it was the result was this what we call strategic paradox. They made commitments, but sometimes even after we make commitments, this uncertainty in the business environment could result in a failure, or could plunge us into failure. So Sony's case is really it is unfortunate, and it's really miserable because Sony made commitment, but sometimes this commitment might turn out to be taking us into failure. So now we will see managing strategic uncertainty, how we can manage strategic uncertainty. What is recommended by some scholars to avoid this strategic uncertainty is to make labor division, because the CEO must be involved in activities that could impact the company in the long term, and they must be committed. The CEO and the other top level managers must be committed to their cause. The divisional managers, because they are devising middle term policies and plans, so they must be committed about the medium term, and the supervisors at the same time must do their jobs according to their level, because supervisors must they must try to realize the objectives of the top management and the middle management. So each level of managers must be devoted, they must be committed to achieve their goals in their respective positions or levels. So this could impact it. So the other is, this is what we call requisite uncertainty. It means requisite uncertainty means when we devise policies, when we commit our capabilities to achieve these goals in each respective area. Means when the CEO is involved in achieving the long term, when the middle manager is devoted to achieve the medium term, and the supervisor we can avoid the uncertainty. So this is what we call requisite uncertainty, because requisite uncertainty delegates power to the corporate manager, for example, to manage the whole company. So this is very important to mention. So the other reason that is challenging and that must be avoided in companies is the presence of many managers. Means when middle level or the supervisors have to report to more senior managers, then a collusion and failure could happen. So the company must be, determined not to assign many managers to lower level people. This must be taken into account. So as a conclusion, strategic paradox, as you have seen, the greatest possibility of success may have the greatest possibility of failure. This is what strategic selection paradox is. So in order to avoid this strategic paradox, or to minimize or mitigate the impact of this strategic paradox, what managers do is they must be committed. Commitment is very important, but commitment alone is not enough, because means top level managers should not interfere into the affairs of the lower level managers. Each manager should do their jobs according to the powers have been assigned. So by doing this, means by committing themselves to achieve their goals, by doing their jobs which have been assigned by the company without interfering into each other's actions, strategic paradox could be avoided. So thank you, Chair. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your presentation. We may not, I would wish we have the next presenter, or maybe if it's a question, you make it very brief so that we can be able to cover within the time limit. We still have 2 presenters to go. We have Hagos and we still have Tedesi. So I wish we move on.
I think it's good we move on.
Yes, Hagos, are you ready? I've already made you co-hosts. Can you share your screen, please? Please, can you do screen share? Not screen share, but expand, make it bigger.
Okay.
Slideshow, and then make it, make the viewing bigger, a little bit bigger. Then you can start, please. We have a short time with us, so we need to finish everything.
Okay, watching. Screen it.
You have at the bottom.
What shall I do, Sam? Can you help me, please?
You have at the bottom an icon, or you can press F5.
F5. Okay.
Or there is an icon at the bottom.
ስራ አለች የሆነች አይካን ብርጭቆ የምትመስል
ምን የምትመስል
ብርጭቆ ነገር ዋንጫ የምትመስል
ዋንጫ
ከስር ወደ ቀኝ የለችም
አለች። እሱ ጋር
ቀስቷን ትንሽ ዝቅ አድርጋት ቀስቷን።
ኦኬ ከዚህ ወደ ታች
ተሯታች ጁላይ 2020 ከሚለው ወደ ታች አለች። የመጨረሻዋን ዜሮ ተከትለ ወደ ታች ትወርድ ታገኛታል። ናታች እዚህ
I can't get
ሀጎስ ከስር ኮሜንት ይታያል ወይ? ጁላይ 2020
ስክሪን ስላረኩኝ እንትን ፉል አልመጣብኝ
ነው አይደለም። ጁላይ 2020 የሚለው ያሬድን ስመው ጁላይ 2020 ከሚለው ስር አንድ ዋንጫ የምትመስል ነገር አለች። ከሷ ስር እሷ
እሺ
ተጣናት። ኦኬ ጉድ።
ኢንክሪዝ ላድርገው፣
ክሊክ አድርገው።
ዋት አባውት ታም ይታያል። አሁን
ክሊክ አድርጋት የቅድም አይነካሃትን ክሊክ አላረካት።
አሁንስ
አዎ
መጥቷል። Okay. So good evening everybody. Teacher, can you hear me?
Good evening.
Yes.
Okay.
We are here.
Yes, continue and be fast. We don't have enough time.
Okay, I will. So my assignment is the role of external relation. So first of all, I will try to explain what is external relation and what is its role. We will see. Okay. External relation is the relationship with stakeholders outside the organization. So a business firm creates a relation, the relation or the connection or the network that they create with their stakeholders is, we can call this is external relation. And these stakeholders, those stakeholders are maybe, they can be an individuals, it can be group or organizations who are interested in the organization, and the relation or the stakeholders that the business firm creates a network with of some are the following. Maybe they are customers, the government, the media, financial institutions like banks, creditors, lenders, and donors. Investors and competitors these are the stakeholders that the business firm can create a network or relation. So what is the role of external relation for a business firm? The first one is the external relation can create influence for business organizations. External relation helps an organization to pursue the public, investors, partners, employees, as well as other stakeholders in order to maintain a certain point of view about the company. Yes, please. Yes.
I'll stop you a little bit.
Okay.
Now, just give us the role and then don't read much here. Just give us the role.
Okay.
What is the role, yes? What is the role?
Yes, the first is it helps an organization to create influence. The second one is creating a partnership with other business firms. So by creating external relation, the firms can create strategic alliance, merger, acquisition. This partnership or this relationship with other firms can help the business firms to share knowledge, experience, skill, resources, and this leads the company to be competitive, to minimize the risks, and to create new products and to stay in the market. The third goal is to create promotional opportunities. But the external relation, the companies can create an opportunity to be known, to be aware, and to be understood by other stakeholders. The fourth role is the external relation helps the business firms to have healthy financial system. The fifth role, external relation makes a business operation smooth and effective by creating a fruitful relationship with other stakeholders like government, for example, can create smooth operation of a business. Maybe this operation may include, for example, with government, about tax policies, about legislation acts, about price, about social and cultural effects of the business, environmental, like whether it is environmentally friendly or not. These issues make this relationship that's made by the firms with the government makes the business operation smooth and effective. Okay, the other role is it helps to manage and monitor external changes. One is the firm is familiar with the changes or with the environments outside the firm. By creating external relation, it can manage and it can be cope up with these changes and can sustain its activities. The other role that the external relation provide for business firms is understanding the nature and the extent of the competitors. So who are the competitors to us? What are their strategies? What products they are providing to the market? By knowing these things, or by knowing their competitors well, they can rearrange themselves and they can be ready to compete with these competitors. So external relationship helps the business firms to understand the competitors. The other thing is it helps to attract and retain customers. So customers are preferring. There is today the customers are very familiar of what they are buying, what they should buy, the quality, everything. So the business firm should know their customers, and they have to know how to attract their customers. First of all, they should understand who are my customers, their income level, their preference and taste, whatever it is. So by knowing the need and the nature of their customers, the business firm can attract and retain loyal customers. So in conclusion, external relation is the bridge that connects the business firms with their stakeholders. As I said before, these stakeholders may be the government, maybe competitors, media, the retailers, whatever. So it is the bridge that connects the firm with the stakeholders. So we can say external relation is the blood life for the business firms, because by creating external relation with other stakeholders, the business firms helps to know the business environment and to be aware of it. The business environment at the modern time is very difficult. It has dynamic change, rapid change of customer tastes, preference, technological advancement, stiff competition, globalization. All these environments affect the business. So by creating external relation, the business firm can manage and cope up with these factors that affect the business. So external relation also is a window that monitors changes, misunderstandings, misconceptions among employees, employer, management, stakeholders, and other stakeholders too. External center has a great role in delivering the mission, the vision, strategic plan, and overall the objective of the company. External relation also makes the business operation smooth and effective. So this is all about my presentation. Thank you for your attentive listening. And if you have any question or comment, you are welcome.
Thank you very much for your presentation. Okay, so thank you very much. See you guys.
Thank you.
Yes, success in everything. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Bye.
All right.
በትምህርት ከፍ ብሎ መብረር ይቻላል። ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ የናሽናል ኤርዌይስ እህት ኩባንያ ከከፍተኛ ትምህርት አግባብነትና ጥራት ኤጀንሲ ሙሉ ዕውቅናን ባገኘንባቸው በማስተርስ ዲግሪ ኤምቢኤ በስትራቴጂክ ማኔጅመንት፣ ኤምቢኤ በባንኪንግ እና ፋይናንስ፣ ኤምቢኤ በቢዝነስ ሊደርሺፕ፣ ኤምቢኤ በሪስክና ኢንሹራንስ፣ ኤምኤስሲ በኢንተርናሽናል ትሬድ እና ኢኮኖሚክስ ዘርፎች በእውቀት ለመቅረጽ የበቁ ፕሮፌሰሮቻችን አረንጓዴ መብራታቸውን አብርተዋል። በነገራችን ላይ በኬንያ ሀገር ከሚገኙ ስመጥር ዩኒቨርሲቲዎች በሚመጡ ፕሮፌሰሮች የትኩረት መስክ ትምህርቶቹ መሰጠታቸው ልዩ ያደርገናል። በምርጥ የትምህርት ስርዓት የተገነባው ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ በመጀመሪያ ዲግሪ በአቪዬሽን ማኔጅመንት፣ በሆቴል ማኔጅመንት፣ በአካውንቲንግ እና ፋይናንስ፣ በማርኬቲንግ ማኔጅመንት አስተማማኝ ትምህርት ይገቢውና ራስዎንና ሀገሮን ይለውጡ። አድራሻ 22 አደባባይ ወደ ሾላ በሚወስደው መንገድ ላይ። ናሽናል አቪዬሽን ኮሌጅ የናሽናል ኤርዌይስ እህት ኩባንያ ህልሞን እውን ያደርጋል።